Welcome to another great story with your host, Nick Sandino, brought to you by The Village Christian Church. Do you know any great stories? We sure do. And we can never find enough time on a Sunday morning to tell them all. Here at Another Great Story, we tell the truth about where life change, life growth, and life purpose meets our everyday life, with the hope that you might experience God in your story.
Hey, welcome back to Another Great Story. I'm your host, Nick Sandino. Joining me today is a good friend, Kristen Strunga, from the Cole City campus. I'm excited for you to get to know Kristen. I'm excited to get to know Kristen a little bit better. So sit back and relax and enjoy another great story. Kristen, you're kind of a podcast fan, aren't you?
A little bit, yeah.
What's your go-to show?
I mean, I don't know that I am subscribed to a lot of podcasts. I take them in a lot on like TikTok, so a lot of different things come across on my TikTok.
Why would I listen to the whole podcast if I can get my
Absolutely.
favorite clip?
I want the highlights.
Yep.
I want the funnies. I want like what's trending this week.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's where I get a lot of my news.
Yeah, for sure.
Is different. And I try to like curate my social media on that stuff so that I get the stuff I want. You know, that's like semi-productive.
Yeah,
it's not just
I
all
mostly
like
read. I just want the highlights of the podcasts.
So for somebody who's not a reader, how many pages a week do you read? Is it like a day?
Depends on the week. Good books, I might take 50 to 100 pages in a day.
50 to 100 pages a day.
Yeah.
What's that take for time?
An hour or two.
Whoa. I need to be more productive with my time. I've got Audible.
Yeah, that's a great way to read books.
So like
I consider that reading.
Oh, that's good.
Some people do not, but I think you are consuming literature.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of one book right now that's really a hard listen. Like emotionally it's hard. It's like difficult information, and I think it's productive for ministry. But I have that book at home, and I think I'm going to physically read through that one because it's so much to consume.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm a better auditory learner. Like, when did you know that you were good at consuming information that way?
Auditory?
No, like as a reader.
Oh, as a reader, always. I've always been a reader.
Were you like early at school at
yes,
reading?
I was like, in kindergarten, I went to school and my mom was like, ask if you can read this book aloud.
Really?
And I read it aloud, and then I read a word wrong, and it is still...
Think about that once a week.
Yes, it was a book about birds, and I said back instead of beak.
Ruined it.
I'm 36, and I still remember. My kindergarten teacher was like, it's okay.
So that's good. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so I'm Mike's wife, lovingly known as, all the community pastor wives.
Sure.
We are just the wives. I am a first grade teacher, so I teach a lot of reading. I know what that's like for my littles to come in and like the light bulb moments, but that's also really hard, like being a teacher. It is the grind. I'm a mom to twin girls. We've got fourth grade girls. We're like in it. I thought, babies, I thought that was being in it. Then toddlerdom, I thought that was being in it. And then we had these like bright, shiny moments.
Yeah.
Now we've hit like fourth grade, and it's kind of a whole new world. I go to your wife, Lauren, a lot. And I'm like, what's happening with the girls?
The joke I always reference, I've probably even referenced it on the show, is did you ever watch any Jim Gaffigan specials?
A few, yeah.
So he said he's got like 5 kids, and he said having a big family is like drowning and then somebody hands you a baby. And it's like there's just seasons, and I get it. What people say, like the days are long but the years are short.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
That's not as discouraging to me because I like I don't know. There's some rough points. They just are changing and growing, and
we're in life group, and most of us are around the same age with kids the same age. And then we have a few who have high school kids, and then we have one dad and his kids are graduated. And so we all look at each other and we're like, when does it just get like really easy? And we're like, Jeff? He's like, when they're about 22. We're like, that wasn't what we wanted to hear, Jeff.
No, it's a ways out. It's not easy. 4th grade girls, and your girls are great.
They're
They're super
great,
fun.
but you have to do the hard now.
And
It's okay.
they like melted into like our group and our church just seamlessly.
Yes.
And they were probably young enough. Like, I didn't even put that together, but how many years have you guys been here? Give us your story a little bit. Or you start your story wherever you want to.
Okay. Yeah, I can just jump in. So, I mean, I grew up in a small town about 2 hours south of here. It's called Catlin. I compare it a lot to Mazan. We had like a Casey's, and there was a big day when we got a Dollar General.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that was a big day in town. And it was like a lot of little things. I grew up with an IGA, and then there was like the sad day when it closed.
Yep.
We were just like this little tiny town. It's close to Danville, if anyone needs to like, map it. But even Danville's kind of a dying town now. So that was my hometown. I met Mike in college.
They have a big scrapyard in Danville.
Do we?
I think so.
Okay. My mom.
I was in a wedding of the scrapyard owner's daughter.
Okay.
It was a weird thing.
All right.
Went and did a wedding in Danville.
All right.
Yeah.
My mom grew up in that area, so like we're just like generationally there. I met Mike in college, and he grew up in Joliet, so I always thought I'd be back in this area, but his job got cut like down to part-time, so he was looking for full-time right around when my home church said, hey, we need a full-time youth minister.
Yeah.
So it all worked out. I was like, I get to go back to my hometown. I ended up at my little school. I was like, my life is perfect.
You taught where you went.
Yes.
Oh, that is special.
Yes. For 1 year, I worked in Danville, but then a 2nd grade job at my little like hometown school opened up, Catlin Grade School. So I went back, and I was like, this is all I've ever wanted. My parents live here. I'm married. I'm going to my home church. I'm in my hometown. I need nothing else for my life.
Are you the like put roots down, don't need change to be excited kind of?
Yeah. I mean, I thought, yes.
Yeah.
I thought this is all I need forever and ever and ever. Amen. Here we go.
I told Lauren when we moved into our house in Morris, and we were sitting on the front porch, like 2 days after moving in, and it was like must have been like December, but it was like a mild December day. And I said, I could hang it up here. Like this, if this is where it all wraps up. And she almost threw up. She was like, no, like, you just removed all chance of adventure. And I was like, I like that.
I need a few vacations, and that's it.
They don't even have to be fancy
homebody.
vacation to me.
Yep.
Like I just need like a few days away, and then I'm ready to come home.
Yep.
Yeah, I get that.
We bought a house, and it was like a 1918 old, like beautiful original hardwoods.
Yeah.
Like, I was so happy.
It was like a Hallmark movie.
Yes. With a Christmas tree in the front window. Like everything was just.
Was this the church that you were raised in?
Yeah.
I mean, like whole life, like that's your only experience?
Well, no, that's not true. There was this Methodist church in town that my parents started at, and then things kind of went south. So, I mean, in 3rd grade, from 3rd grade
Yeah,
on.
but it's pretty early.
Yes, very early. It's where I got baptized, all of it.
Yeah.
So
How old were you when it really started to make sense?
really early. We had a phenomenal youth minister, and he went to school with Nate, Dave Berger.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I think so many of us in church have that story where it's like, my youth minister changed my life.
Right.
Dave is that to like hundreds of people.
Well, and that was
Hundreds.
Mike's story too.
Yes.
You know?
There were probably, I think Dave at some point probably had like 20 or 25 students at Lincoln at one time.
Yeah.
He had an incredible impact. So, and he's down in Alton still.
Still doing ministry?
Still doing ministry.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Huge.
I have, the older I get, the more respect I have for people who do it for the long haul.
Yeah.
Because it's not as common as it should be.
Yeah.
Like there's easy off ramps that hurt you, that burn you, or that people burn you, or a church leadership burns you, and like you just seen a lot of friends get out of it, you know?
Yeah. I had a hard time in high school, small town high school.
In what way? At the church or in school or
just with my faith?
Fitting?
Like, our youth group, I was really close to a lot of the older kids. They all left.
Yeah.
You know, they graduated, and then it was like I looked around and most of my friends weren't Christians anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I went through like a bumpy patch there in high school. But then I reconnected with the Lord, went to Lincoln, met Mike. We ended up back in Catlin, like I said. And then
was it so when you met Mike, did it cross your mind? Were you completely on board with marrying somebody that was going to go into ministry, or was there any hesitation to that?
None. It was like, oh, I'm going to be Jennifer Berger to Dave Berger.
Right.
It was like, I've seen this work
He had
out.
a great wife that you liked.
Yes, and she was my second grade teacher.
Oh, yeah.
I was like,
so the story was already
works
written.
Well, I have watched a teacher support a pastor. This works. Like, her summers were off. This can work. Like, this will be perfect.
Good holiday breaks. You can be a mom. You can be involved. Your weekends are always free to help in student ministry, camps.
Yes, absolutely.
It's the best combination.
That's what we did.
Yeah.
That's what we did. I can remember like leaving work, getting in that 15-passenger van in the front seat. I'd have my blanket. I'd fall asleep, get up, go to this retreat for a whole weekend.
Yep.
Fall asleep on the way home and go back to work. And we just went to a wedding of this kid. And he'd be like, why do you always get the front seat? All you do is sleep. And I turned around and I was like, because I work all week.
Right.
And then he was in high school and he went to a retreat. And I saw a picture of him asleep in the like stands. And I was like, that's why, bud.
Yeah.
It's really exhausting
It's
to
really
work with
exhausting.
junior high kids.
It's I remember having this thought, and I don't know if I've ever asked Mike this. I really thought I could do youth ministry for a career exclusively and never make the move out of it. Oof. I just thought I'll never run out of steam on this. And now if I dip my toe back into it, I just got to hang out with high school boys last Tuesday. And Carter wasn't around. He couldn't be there. And it came back, but it's also like, these leaving the church at 9:30, 10 o'clock nights, and that pace of student ministry, it's different.
Yes. It's so like fulfilling in the moment, and then you leave and you are like exhausted in a different way.
Yeah, you carry so much did you have a preference? Did you prefer junior high or high school?
The high schoolers.
Yeah.
Oh man. The junior highers, I was like, you guys are just your own breed.
They are. Junior high is wild because they like girls are maturing at like a warp speed. And boys get tall and stay, I don't mean it with any disrespect, they stay like kids. Like they keep having fun, but they're bigger.
I worked with second graders all week, and then the junior highers were just like big second graders.
Right.
So I was like, Mike, I cannot.
Right.
I cannot do this.
I know.
He's like, well, I need you. I'm like, okay, I'm here. But we'd be like in a line walking, and then all of a sudden we'd be like, where's Gavin? And he's in the line to get Dippin' Dots. And we're like, we're not getting the Dippin' Dots right now.
I know.
And then somebody'd be like, I spent all my money. We're like,
I have nothing.
It's Friday night and we're here till Sunday.
Mm-hmm. I know. Nate used to have a student that he would take his money from him on the first week of the trip, and then he would budget for him through the week.
Yes.
Because we would stop at an outlet mall on the way to Carbondale, and he would inadvertently spend $80 at the outlet mall, and he'd be like, I have nothing.
We watched kids buy hacky sacks and then kick them up, and they were gone.
Yeah.
In 3 minutes. They had them for 3 minutes.
Yeah. And you're poor, and you're the one in charge, you know? Like, and it's like, I can't afford to.
My sweet parents went on a lot of trips, and my mom would look on Sunday to like who didn't go get in line for food. They just went and sat down. And she's like, what's going on? And they're like, I'm not hungry.
Right.
She's like, did you run out of money?
Yeah.
What do you want? And she'd go get them something, because she's like, no kid isn't hungry.
Right.
They just spent all their money.
I know.
They had a new T-shirt on, and they couldn't get a burger.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll just go home starving. It's okay.
Yes.
You know, it's good. So then what happened? Like, so you're in, did you guys get married right out of college?
We did. 2011. And everything was like bright, shiny, dreamy. And Mike all of a sudden started having that like call, that feeling that I'm ready to transition out of youth ministry. And he had been getting calls before. You know, when you're in this network, you've got friends, you've got college friends, just other pastors around the nation. People call and they're like, hey, we have this opening. Are you open to it? And he'd be like, no, I'm happy where I am. Things are good. Or we just had kids. We're not ready. And then the calls started coming and he was like, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. So he started talking to me and I was like, oh,
how could you ever?
We're here forever. What are you talking about? So then we were scheduled to go visit a church March 13th, 2020.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like,
perfect.
The Lord has said no.
Yeah.
We are staying forever.
The Lord closed the country.
Yes. COVID came because we are staying. Yeah. We're staying so far that we are not allowed to leave our house.
Right.
So obviously things kind of shut down for a while. Churches are, you know, shrinking. They're not growing. They don't need new pastors. So we stayed. Then he gets a call. His heart didn't change. The world changed for a short time. And he's like, Kristen, I told you 5 years when we got married. It's been 10.
Yeah.
And I was like, how about 10 more?
Yeah.
He's like, no.
I don't think this is the part I knew. I didn't know it was like that much of your, like sewn into your heart.
Oh, yeah. I was just hoping that I could just 5 years at a time string him along until we were old and gray.
Now he's stuck. Yeah.
So Florida calls, and I didn't realize how much he was talking to these churches behind the scenes. I just heard like, oh, Florida called. I was like, oh, how fun. Okay. So then he sits me down on the couch and he's like, they want to fly us there. I was like, that is
which for the
serious.
Listener, this isn't ministry poaching. Like we don't do that. We don't fly people anywhere.
No.
We don't fly our staff anywhere, let alone future staff.
This is like, basically he's a yes, and they want to show us around. Yeah. And I was like, to Florida? I don't know how to live in Florida. So I remember like walking up the stairs and literally like sitting down, crying a prayer. Like, Lord, I'll go somewhere, but not Florida. Yeah. And I'm sure people are like, why? It's freezing cold in Illinois. Why? I was like, this is so far from my family. Right. That sounds like a great place to vacation, but I don't want to live there. I don't know. Can I teach in Florida? I don't know anything about Florida. Just please, God, I'll go somewhere, but just please not Florida. So it was like a quiet week in our house. And Mike finally comes home and I'm like sitting on the couch reading. And he says, if I told them yes today, we're coming, how would you feel? And I started sobbing and I was like, I would be a mess. I don't know. And he's like, and if I told them I said no today, how would you feel? I was like, I would be so relieved. I would be so happy. He's like, I think we're not going to Florida. I was like, okay, good.
Oh.
So then like, it's like a week later and he's like, so Cole, I've been talking to Cole City. I was like, what are we doing?
It was that quick.
It feels that quick. Yeah. I don't know if it was, but it felt that quick.
What year was that you guys came and visited here?
Was it 21 or 22?
Seneca started.
This is my 4th school year here.
So.
Spring of 21.
22, 23 you taught, right? It's great. It's
I'm
great podcast material when we count on our fingers. Okay.
So spring of 22.
Spring of 20. Okay.
Yeah,
because we started the Seneca campus in 21. And that was interesting. It was wonderful. It made like a lot of sense. It felt really affordable. When Coal City people were like, if you did it for them, why won't you do it for us? It was like, oh. I had all sorts of anxiety. And I don't think I like show it, but I ran real anxious because I felt spread thin. So it was like, what are we going to do? And some of the directions we had thought about going campus pastor wise, it was just ramping up everybody's workload. And I was like, man, if we do this wrong, we're going to have like literally an empty stage on a Sunday morning. because it was still like fresh in my head that you could get sick for 2 weeks, like in 21. Like you can just be like home for the next 10 days.
Yeah.
And I was like, how do you preach like that? Because it would just shut it down. And I would have this fear of like letting down. And so it was like, you want to add another one to this rotation? And I remember so many fun things. Before we probably even had you guys, we had the space. Does that sound right on the timeline? So we had toured a church that was rough, that it was like, how would we ever do church in here? It's in bad shape. We toured a school that we would set up and tear down in. And I was like, this is what Nate's going to pick. This is the sort of thing he always picks. And then we went to that industrial upstairs where you guys are. And do you know this about Jason Galliardo? He walked out. He like walked up and it was too good to be true. And he was like, this had never happened. We'll never afford this. And he left. And like, Jason's like a glass half full guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm with him, but I'm nosy. So I want to see this space, and walked around, but like, we don't. And I came and talked to Sarah Wyndham about it. And she's like, well, you should trust God to give good gifts. And I was like, no, it's not like, this isn't like a good gift. It's like a big debt, and it's a huge build out. And then it worked out, But when did you start to come around to the idea of moving? What's Catlin? 2 hours away, you said? Mm-hmm. When did you start to come around to the idea of moving from Catlin to Coal City? What did you think when you drove through Coal City the first time?
Oh, this is a good story.
Yeah.
Have you heard this?
I don't know if I have.
So Mike says, we're going to Coal City Saturday. I was like, oh, we are? He goes, yes, we're going to drive around with Nate. We're going to meet with some people for lunch. I said, okay. And he said, it would be good if you prepared some questions. I said, I should prepare some questions. He said, yes. I said, okay. And it was a very quiet drive to Coal City.
Because you're thinking of the questions?
I didn't think I should have to prepare questions. I was like, I think this is your job interview. I think you should have the questions. So it was a quiet drive. I was like, why is this not on our calendar? Why are you telling me like a couple days before? And why am I preparing questions?
Yeah.
Period. So
I'm curious now.
It was a quiet drive.
Had we met with him in person yet? Or was this like...
No, I think this was the first... We didn't even come to the church that day. We just drove around Coal City. So it was a quiet drive. It's like snowing, blowing. It's like 20 below. I'm like in my coat, just like frosted over. So we get to the McDonald's, we hop in Nate's car, and I am a delight. I mean, we're driving around because when we drove into town, I was like, there's a Dollar General and there's a Casey's. This looks like a nice small town.
Oh,
I won't tell you that those two things were like, okay, I could live here.
Really?
Yes.
That's the strangest thing I've ever
Diamond,
heard.
But the fact that there was a Casey's and a Dollar General, I was like, I could live in this town.
Yeah.
So then we drive around and Nate's giving us the grand tour and I'm like, okay, so what about this? And tell me this and tell me that. And Mike, I don't think Mike uttered 2 words. It was just Nate and I shooting the breeze the whole time. And
do you think that's like the Holy Spirit gave you a lot of comfort?
But also it was just like, this is a nice town.
Yeah.
It's a really nice town. It's not Florida.
Yeah.
It's not like...
It's just a touch bigger than Catlin. It was just... Yes. But it's never going to be a suburb, but it definitely had a ton of growth potential.
Yes. And it was really nice. He drove us around Braidwood. Then we went for lunch and we met the Galliardos, Jason and Devin, and we met the Jeskis, Aaron and Steven, and we had like the nicest lunch. Again, I think it was just like Aaron, Devin, and I talking the whole time. The men said
they're not shy.
Words.
Yeah.
But we were just like, it was like we were best friends immediately, just gabbing the whole time. And so
did you have a lot of peer friends at your church in Catlin?
At church, I had a few, but I had some good teacher friends and I had like some good lifelong friends. And then we just had like a few core friends, but it's nothing like Coal City. Like our church was not comprised of a lot of people our age.
Yeah.
This was a good move. The best move. We talk about it retrospectively.
Yeah, I know.
The best thing. You can't see it in the moment. So we get, and then Nate he took us and had like a small interview with us. But we got in the car, and Nate said you should pray for 30 days, as he does. But we got in the car, and I was like, so when are we moving? When are we listing our house? This is it. If we're going, this is it. Mike was like, we're supposed to pray for 30 days. I said, there's nothing else. I'm not talking to any other churches. I'm not going to any other towns. This is the one.
Really?
He's like, we need to pray for 30 days.
You hadn't even been to Minooka yet. You hadn't even seen you hadn't even seen one of our services.
I said, I don't need to see any other towns.
What if we were like,
I didn't care.
I mean, what if we were like super weird?
Could have been.
That
was the town.
I had so much, oh man. I mean, like, so I get hired from, like, I grew up with Nate. Like, he came and was our youth pastor at 9. I dearly loved Rochelle, trusted her with everything by like age 10 or 11. And they were just like family. And so when they were going to start a church, I was in wherever they were going, it wasn't because of like a deep affection for Minooka. It was a deep trust in Nate that grew into a deep affection for Minooka. But long story short, that became the model of like Nate brought Jared because he was our intern. Nate brought me because I was a student who was going to go into ministry. Sarah and Luke move here. Brittany, my sister, gets involved. My parents start attending. Everything was always internal. The idea when we were like, here's our options, we're thin internally. Whenever you start a campus, it's like you empty the bullpen, and it's like an 18-inning game that you're like, we have nothing left to share. We barely have enough money to buy, a microphone to do this. And so you don't want to make like a choice out of desperation. Like, it's like, well, who do we have that we can start investing in? And it's like, there's no time. So it was was it our first? I think Mike's our first official outside hire.
Yeah.
That wasn't like cultivated village culture, saved here, raised here, some sort of story like that. And we were a decent sized staff at that point. There's like, 8 to a dozen people, including part-time working here. And so hanging out with Mike was like, man, I really hope you are who you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, cause you'd heard so many stories of people who would interview well and then they'd settle in and they'd dig their heels in on something weird, or you would hear about church campuses breaking apart because they would have like, we're going to go our own way. And like, it was so central to us to give platforms for other people to lead from, but also to remain like one community. Like, we really like it. We really like the community of it. Like, we like each other. I don't know if people like realize like our friends are who we work with.
Yeah.
And their spouses. And it's like who we do a lot of our life with.
Yeah.
And then our small groups and then our own churches and stuff. But, I hung out with Mike in the studio back there. And I was like, you seem cool. And I didn't have like good questions, but I was just kind of like, anything weird? Like, I would just try to think of like, what's the weirdest thing? And Mike had some good questions. Like, is there any secret conflict that you guys aren't telling me about? And I like racked my brain and I was like, I get mad at Nate sometimes, not in a bad way, like not in a scary way. It's like you would get mad at a brother.
Right.
Like, how do I convey it's not ever unhealthy?
Right.
And you're also not in trouble if you are in disagreement.
Yeah.
But it was really scary. It was really scary. Just because it was, I've not moved, we've moved little towns. But it felt like that kind of commitment. Like, who are you going to do the next like 10, 15, 20, 25 years of life with?
Yeah.
And you get like 45 minutes to hang out before we go to lunch.
Yeah.
It was like, do you guys want to do life together for, I don't know, until we die?
Yeah.
Or
right.
until like we get dementia and disqualify out of ministry somehow,
Yeah.
That's incredible. I hadn't heard your side of that. I'd heard Mike's, but I didn't know it was that quick. Did you go home and pray? And like, what was that like?
I mean, I did, but every day I was also on Realtor and Zillow, like shopping. And that was a wild time.
It was.
Real estate was
exploding.
I was like, well, it actually may not matter if we want to come. We may not get to come. Because houses
I remember thinking that too.
Were insane. And
it was a tight timeline.
Catlin real estate market was very different. You know, it's a very different cost of living. Our house was paid off, but that didn't even compare to Coal City. And so I was like, well, this was fun. I thought we were going. And I would like laugh. I was like, look at this house, Mike. It is so ugly and it is so overpriced. And then the next day it was like going to the highest bidder by Monday. And I was like, oh no. Like God's going to have to show up for us here. And then he did.
It was none of my business, but I remember having that fear. I was like, how are they ever going to move?
Yeah.
Like, how do you just, and I had that fear of like, hey, could you guys uproot your life, go into debt, buy a house, and hope that the church upstairs of a hardware store works out?
Yeah. There was a lot.
And not be mad at us if it doesn't?
There was a lot in that timeline that was just God, and it was way smoother than it ever should have been, which also just put us at ease. So it was like very short timeline that we needed to buy a house in a housing market that shouldn't have worked. I needed to get a teaching job, and I preferred a teaching job in the town where my kids worked.
Right.
It's just always, I also am moving to a place I didn't know, starting a church. And I thought, what better to do that than work in a town, you know, and meet people. And I also am the insurance carrier. So it was like pretty important that I get a job.
Oh, yeah.
And so we needed to do all of that to kind of feel at peace moving. So I'm watching these houses, and we came up with my parents first, and we looked at 2 houses, and the first one was so tiny, and then it sold the next day, like over what we could have afforded. And it was like, oh no. And the next one was over our budget, and it sold the next day. So we went home and looked at each other, just thinking, what are we going to do? So I went back on Zillow, and there was this house that had been listed for sale by owner. And I had written it off because it was just, you know, we're in this charming 1918, like farmhouse, original hardwood floors. And this was a 2007, looks like every house in the neighborhood. Just very standard builder grade. They had popped up a bunch of houses, but it had been sitting on Zillow, and I noticed it wasn't getting a lot of clicks. So it had been sitting longer than any other house, and it was for sale by owner. So I reached out to the owner, and he said, I'm about to list with a realtor. Here's her number. So I texted her, and so now she's got interest because she could be the double realtor.
Right.
So she says, come Saturday. So we came and we looked at another house. And again, that one, I mean, there were cars in and out of the lot with realtors are walking people in and out of this house. So it's very busy. It's like right behind the high school. But we were the only ones to pull into this house. Like one of my favorite song of the radio turns on at the time. And I look at Mike, I was like, maybe it's a sign. She meets us and she says, this is a single dad. He's ready to get out of here. I don't think he's interested in keeping appearances up for a lot of shows. I'm going to work for you guys. So we got the house under asking in 2022. It was wild. So that was the first thing. Then I needed to get a job. So
that was brave.
I know. Jason Galliardo was on it. He's like, I am going to get you a job in Coal City. I was like, there's currently no listings in Coal City. I'll check the other towns. So I got offered a job in Dwight, and I was excited about it. It's
That's
first
close.
grade. It's close, but it is it's not in Coal City.
Right.
So I checked in with Jason one more time. He said he had some connections. He's, rubbing elbows with anybody he could to find me a job in Coal City. He said, they're going to post some jobs this week. I said, okay. Everyone in the teaching world says you take the job and then you just call them back and said, sorry, I'm taking a different job. that makes me feel so icky. I was like, I don't want to do that, especially being a new person in town. What if she ends up at our church someday? And I'm like, hey, I'm the pastor's wife. I'm the one that took your job and then called you back and said no. So she called and she said, I want to offer you the job. What do you think? And I said, I have to be so honest. I've always worked in the town with my daughters, and Coal City is posting some jobs this week. I love you. I love your community. I love your town. I love your school, and I would love to take your job, but I do want to interview with Coal City first before I say yes. I don't want to say yes to you and call you back and turn you down. Do with that what you will. And she said, I've never had anyone tell me that before, ever. Let me call you back tomorrow. I said, okay. She called me back tomorrow and said, I'm going with the next candidate. I said,
right.
Okay, I understand. But I felt better about that. But then I looked at Mike. I said, now I don't have a job and I don't know what's happening.
Right. And it's definitely a more competitive market to get a job in Coal City.
Yes.
No slight on Dwight. It's farther down the highway. It's a little bit smaller town. Yeah.
Yes. So Coal City posted. I put in. And I interviewed. I also interviewed in Braidwood, but they had just a couple of jobs. And then Mandy called me the next day and offered me the job in Coal City.
Wow.
So we got the house. I got the job. Mike had the job. We were coming.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was before the launch. So Mike came and was around here. It was the best. It was like extra help that was really qualified, and it was so quick that I was like, oh, man, I hope we punt on, like, start date. Like, the heat wasn't working. I'm like, keep Mike around here through Christmas. This is great, But it all worked out, that was fun. Were you impressed when we opened without heat on the coldest December Christmas that we'd ever had?
Not at all. But I remember thinking no one's going to come Christmas Eve. It's -40.
It was literally a wind chill that we didn't shut our vehicles off.
And we can only run 4 space heaters before the power kicks off.
Yeah.
Before we trip the breakers.
And it brought the room up to what, like maybe 50. But everybody worshiping had a coat on.
And when you packed the people in there and you had the lights on.
It started to warm up.
Warmed up. But people came. And
it was in the 50s, though. Like the temperature, you said it's chilly in here. This number starts with a 6 in here.
Yes.
Like that was like in the 50s.
And I can remember, we wrote on the carpet squares.
Mm-hmm.
And that night, that Christmas night was like the first time someone from the ECC came, my school. And that was, I had written, ECC names on the carpet square.
Oh.
And so that Christmas was the first that I had seen someone from school
to like come well wish you.
No, they came to service. They came Christmas Eve service.
From Catlin?
No, from my new school in Coal City.
Oh, because you're like 4 months into working there.
Yes.
Now I'm putting this together.
Yes. So I'm not a hugger with my work friends at Coal City.
Yeah.
Like at the Village, you hug everybody. And I just like couldn't stop myself. I like ran over and hugged her. It was like, You're here. Now they come every Sunday.
Really? Who was that?
Jen Rhodes.
And who's she married to?
Justin.
Oh, okay.
They have 2 kids.
Yeah.
So they're there. My principal's there now. Another kindergarten teacher's there now.
It's really special.
Yes. So like there's a reason I'm not at Dwight. There's a reason I'm in Coal
Yeah.
City.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think it's one of the most underrated things. I guess every career is like this a little bit, but in ministry, you're never just hiring like the next position. You're hiring like whoever they're married to. And it felt like, man, if like Mike was not married to somebody that fit, like it was, like that, it doesn't work because it's so much risk. It's so much investment. It's so much like heart behind it that like, when did you know that it felt like it fit with the staff and with like, you became pretty quick friends with lots of like the staff wives. And
I feel like it took a little while. It was a hard season when we first moved. We were bouncing around between Seneca and Minooka. And I can remember, I was thinking about that on the drive here. I can remember driving to Seneca and not really knowing anyone. I hadn't really met Alyssa yet. We'd go Sundays wherever Mike was.
Oh, and Pat and Alyssa Pat was probably just worship lead.
Yes. And I think Alyssa was down in Kid Village a lot,
Yep.
or just doing stuff with kids. So I hadn't really met her yet. Coming to Minooka, it's just wild here. There's just so many people. And I can remember being out. Mike was always busy. So it was just like me and the girls. There's like a chaotic pancake breakfast and no seats. I have the girls trying to get pancakes, sea of people I don't know. People are trying to be so kind and meet me, and I'm having the same conversation on repeat, like, hi, I'm Kristen. Yeah, I'm from Catlin. Yeah, 2 hours away. Yeah, real small. Yeah, Coal City. Yeah, thanks. Hi, nice to meet you. And then it was like Devin came in, and I was like, finally.
Yeah.
Just like a familiar face, and I don't have to have this like same small conversation on repeat. Just like, and Mike's like, you have to hold on to that because that's what new people are looking for when they walk into your church.
Oh, that's
like,
brilliant.
that like relief of just like, I don't have to like have this like frantic feeling of like,
Right.
I don't know. And I was like, I will hold on to that because I can remember Devin walking in and just being like, oh, Devin, a familiar face. But there was a night that fall, I think it was maybe in October-ish, that I just reached out to Rochelle, Kaylee, Alyssa, Lauren, and said I could really use just a dinner. And Rochelle took us out. She got us a table at the country club. Corey came.
Mm-hmm.
Magically, God cleared our schedule, and we were able to go have a dinner. And it was from then on, it was just like, we are all best friends.
Yeah.
This is going to work.
It was really brave on your part because I don't know how I would do with that. You said a lot of really interesting things because I don't visit churches as a new person except for if we're on vacation, and that's 50% of the time. And I'm usually pretty quick to be like, I'll fill out your stuff, but I'm never coming back.
Right.
Because I know the time that they're going to put into that follow-up, and I don't want them to have to do that. Anyway, I just think about those things like that new person walking in. We don't experience that because we put roots down really quick, and that's a smart thing to have paid attention to, you know. And what's the joke? Like, nobody talks about how impressive it is that Jesus had 12 friends in his 30s. You know?
Yeah.
Like, it's not easy to make friends, and you've got kids. So it's like, when would you like to hang out? Well, between colds and flu season, like somewhere,
right?
You know?
Yeah.
It's really hard. And like, how many of your kids are you bringing, you know? Like, cause it's just busy. It's really difficult. So it's a tricky season of life, and God was really good on it. What would you, so what's any of this taken you by surprise on what's happened in Coal City? What was your wildest dream for what could happen in Coal City then once everything fired up?
I think I grew up in high school going out to like Maine and Vermont and watching these brand new Danny Clymer churches get planted. And they were starting with 5 people. So when Mike said we're this church plant, I was like, oh no, we have got to.
You thought like house group.
Oh, we have got to hit the ground. Like, we have got to invite everyone. So when I remember getting my keys at the church or at the school office, they're like, oh, why'd you move here? I was like, we're starting a church. Would you like to come? We're starting a church. Would you like to come?
Oh, that's great.
I'm the pastor's wife at the village. It's in your neighborhood. You should come. Because I thought if we might not make it, we got to. And then we opened the doors and people came and new people came. And every single week we have new people. And that is just astonishing every single week. And I don't take a single moment for granted that new people come every week. There's someone every single week that I look at Mike and I say, do you know who they are? And he says no. And I look at Amy Tricano and I say, do you know who they are? And she says no. And it's, if they don't know and I don't know and a few other people don't know, like, then they are brand new. We don't know them.
Yeah.
And so every single week there's someone that we have to like go try to meet, say hi to every single week.
Yeah.
There's someone new. And for all the anxiety and all the craziness of moving and all of it, that's worth it to me.
Yeah.
That every single week someone new walks in and can experience some sort of life change, life growth, life purpose at the Village. Like that's why we're here.
What's one of your most signature moments as a church in Coal City that you're like, oh, that moment will stick with you? Saw something happen, saw somebody visited somebody.
I think just hearing some of these people who, I don't know if it's a single moment, but some of these conversations with my friends who say my husband was never going to go to church again.
Oh, yeah.
My husband would never go. And now my husband says, wake up, we got to get to church.
Yeah.
And so they come together. They're always there. There have been weeks that the wife is sick and the husband is there alone.
Yeah.
I think that's incredible. So, and some of that is because I tell Mike and Steven all the time, it's because they play basketball and people can see that Mike is super normal.
Right.
People need to see that Mike's normal. He's just like a normal guy.
Yes. It's one of our core values that isn't written down. It's just be normal.
Yeah.
Be a human.
Be super normal.
Yeah. And by that, I don't mean less in love with the Lord. I just mean here's the reality. We're still married. Yeah. We still have kids. We're still doing all the same things you are.
Go play basketball with him and he's super normal.
Yeah.
And then they keep coming back and ask Mike questions, and I can't believe how many baptisms we've had.
Yes.
It's just been an explosion.
It's been really...
I can't pinpoint it to one moment because it's just...
And it's happening fast. Yeah. So it's hard to nail that down. For me, I went to high school in Seneca, was from Mazan. At the time, Manuka was growing. They were substantially bigger than us, but it wasn't like this. Not like it's a crazy metropolis, but it's 35,000, I think, Shanahan, Manuka. And at the time, it was probably 10. But compared to our 2,000 in Seneca, of a town, it was big. So they were still in our conference. But I couldn't recognize Manuka people. But when we went back and started churches in Seneca, that felt like, oh, I know a lot of these faces. What I didn't expect was when we started Coal City, that obviously Jason and Devin, Jason and I were the same age. He's a year older. Rodney was a guy that I remember playing sports against, and I was like, there's Coal City kids. I was 37, right? 36 or 7. And I'm going, there's Coal City kids that I played basketball against 20 years ago that are here. I'm going, I never thought you'd come to church. You know what I mean? I don't know these people, but you're just so excited to see what God's doing. Man, it's exhilarating. It's just so exciting, and it's far from finished. I think the best is yet to come. It's not going to get easier. There's way more adventures ahead.
Yeah.
If you make your pitch, why should somebody that's listening come check out Coal City?
I just think there's so much there. It's full of normal people who are seeking something. There's a place for everybody. I see kids growing, my own kids who have grown up in church, but then their friends who have never been there before, and they're all experiencing it together. There's people like me who have been to Bible college, but then there's my friend who's never been to church before, and we're all
just got their first Bible.
Yes, and we're all experiencing something together. There's a place for all of us, and it's not scary. It's it's just very inviting, and we all just get something, and it just feels like home. And as someone who's a homebody, it feels like home.
Good.
So, yeah.
I love that.
Feels like home.
Would you do me a favor? Would you pray for our church and just for what God's doing next here before we wrap up?
Yes. God, thank you for this place. Thank you for the Village, for bringing Mike, Cora, Lila, and I here We know that it was part of your plan, and we're so excited to see what the future holds. Lord, you're limitless. We just pray that you would open our hearts so that we can be part of it and not try to hold any of it back. Lord, fill these seats here in Minooka, in Seneca, in Shorewood, in Sheridan, and in Coal City. Lord, as we run out of seats, help us to problem solve and figure out what's next. Lord, I pray over the ground in Coal City where the future building will be. I just pray that it is a place where people will come and find home, find you, find growth, find change, and find their purpose. We thank you for the change in our own lives, and we just pray for everyone in their coming seasons that they would also find you. Lord, for anyone listening, I just pray that they might have found something out of this story that may be a big life change, that they will know it's hard, but it's worth it on the other side. Lord, thank you for your son, and it's in his name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Hey, if you're looking for a good church home, we'd love to have you come check us out at any of our campuses. But in particular, go visit Mike and Kristen over at the Coal City campus. You will be loved well. You will be cared for well. And they would absolutely love to have you join them there. It is a vibrant community of people who love the Lord, and he is moving in great ways. So please, please, please go check us out. What are your campus times again? Are you 9 and 10:30? Just like we are.
For right now.
Maybe another one coming. I don't know when this episode drops, but there'll be another service coming around the pipe. So, like I said, if you're looking for a good church home, you will be loved well. God's doing some special things. Go check us out in Coal City at the Village Christian Church. So, thanks, Kristen.
Thanks for having me.
It was fun.
Thank you so much for joining us for another great story. Make sure to click that subscribe button so you never miss our latest stories. And if you are in the market for a great church home, check us out at thevillagechristianchurch.com. We've got more great stories ahead, and we can't wait for you to hear them all. So until next time, keep living another great story.